everyone. Welcome to Food Frontiers, the podcast series where we connect with trailblazing leaders who are shaping the future of agriculture. Today, we are thrilled to have Mr. Sandeep Reddy with us, an inspiring entrepreneur whose journey from engineering to agribusiness is a testament to innovation and resilience. Sandeep's transition from construction to sustainable agriculture highlights the power of adaptability and visionary leadership in tackling modern agricultural challenges. As the co-founder of Kamala Farms, Sandeep has been at the forefront of introducing cutting-edge, water-efficient farming techniques that transform the agricultural landscape and contribute significantly to environmental sustainability. In his leadership, Kamala Farms has established a 5-acre hydroponic farm in Hyderabad and implemented over 40 hydroponic setups across India, reducing water consumption up to 90% compared to traditional farming methods. His work has also inspired thousands of young minds as he has trained around over 2,000 students, motivating them to pursue career in sustainable agriculture. We are thrilled to hear from you, Mr. Sandeep. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, if that was a very informative for everyone who have been listening to this. So yeah, the journey so far has been exciting, and then whatever happens for the agriculture segment is always encouraging because every day you get to see a lot of things changing towards agriculture and putting global warming at the front face. The things have to change faster. Otherwise, we are at risk. Most importantly, people are going to be at risk if we don't change faster. So, hydroponics is one technology that is evolving at a very good rate and also helping people adapt to it. And this technology is giving good outputs in terms of whatever it has to give, which will help the people get the food out of it, and the farmers can enhance their production out of it. Considering
O-
everything, this is pretty good, whatever is happening so far.
Okay, yeah, definitely. That is there. So, as we know that every great venture has an origin story. So, what sparked the idea of Kamala Farms, and was there a defining moment that convinced you to dive into this hydroponics?
Well, yeah, there is a very important moment why we have started agriculture as a fund phase and then hydroponics especially. So I was exploring a lot of avenues in agriculture, especially to understand what exactly is the problem. And I understood three main problems. The first major problem is availability of land, which is like we do have availability of land, but most of these lands are very expensive. We can't utilize it for farming, considering the real estate and many other factors. Next is the labor availability. So labor availability has been a problem since last 5 years, and then I know it is only going to increase. So here we understood we need to come up with a solution which can have less labor intensive farming kind of a technique, but will be able to give a better output or at least similar output. And most importantly, the quality of the produce. The quality of the produce was something which we were not able to find in terms of whatever, like, let's say if you take a tomato, whatever tomato that we're able to get in the market is like you don't get a uniform quality there. There's a lot of speculation that, okay, whatever is seen is beautiful, but it's not like that, right? So the quality matters, and it matters for most of the cases. So, considering all these three factors, we did understand that, okay, coming up with a technology like hydroponics would give a good solution to these three major problems. So, that's when we understood that let's address these step by step. And then, so far, we have addressed for more than 40 farms at this particular scenario. And then we are hoping to do good in the same case.
Okay, yeah, that is a quite a wonderful journey. So, my next question to you is, hydroponics is gaining momentum globally. So, what do you think is the movement for farmers or businesses to push them to consider this technology over traditional farming, as we have been doing traditional farming for decades? So, what motivates them and pushes them towards it?
Yeah. Most importantly, like I said earlier, the three major factors that were influencing hydroponics. So when it comes to that, you can have year-round production, right? So when it comes to year-round production, it's nothing like it. You will be able to have goods produced year-round, and you will be able to sell and supply depends on whatever is the demand and supply. And next is you will be able to cater large scale markets by using very less infrastructure. A farmer growing at a 1 acre of a size can now use the hydroponic technology and can enhance in growing and give yields like 7 to 10 acres of production of when compared to regular farming. So he's widening his reach. So now he's able to give a better output to the people, as well as he's increasing his standard of living and as well as the income that has to come to a farmer, which is most important, right? 70% of the nation feeds around the farmer and the farmer produce based businesses that run around. So he's the one or she's the one who has to grow. So that's the second area where they're getting more attraction towards. And third most important factor is water. The fresh water availability is reducing day on day. Like as we see many scenarios of like Chennai, Bangalore, or many metro cities are draining away all the fresh waters. So this fresh water availability is reducing. So what is the technology that can give us the same output or a better output using the water that is available? That's only hydroponics. So hydroponics is able to give you the output using 90% less water. So these are the three major things that are driving the farmer to adapt to this technology.
Okay, so like moving forward, my next question to you is like, as you have told us the various advantages, the less usage of water and the higher yield. So there are like we have seen every new idea faces resistance in the country like ours, especially. So how do you burst the myths, and what are the biggest myths that you have tackled and that you have faced? And how have you tackled skepticism and misinformation?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that happens with every industry. Like you have a 5 year phase and then slowly it maybe scales up or scales down. So that's the same thing that happened with hydroponic industry as well. So we did play around well during that particular time. That was around 2022-23 when that 5 year period was there for most of the ones who are sitting at hydroponics, as hydroponics was evolved into the country around 2016, 2017. So at this point of time, what we realized to have a switch was to reduce the costing. So we were able to bring down the infrastructure cost, which put us to a better place when compared to the other players. The infrastructure cost was brought down at least by 30 to 35% because me coming from the construction management background and civil engineering background, I was able to influence and also see what are the implications that we could do to reduce the costings. And second one was we did modify and did some tweaks to the structure, which led a good temperature control environment. So at that point of time, what happened was we didn't require temperature control systems for all kind of hydroponic systems. So we did reduce the usage of temperature control systems, by which the operational cost had reduced. So these were the major things that we did as a change management into the company, and that is driving us forward for the next 5 years or so.
Um, Okay, that is quite wonderful and transformation and innovation that you are guys are doing. So, if you could pitch one transformative idea to policymakers to supercharge the hydroponics movement and enhance it in awareness and acceptability, what would it be and why? Like,
Okay. Yeah, so we did explore a lot of subsidy benefits that the government is offering, and then there were a lot of challenges in getting those subsidies, right? As on today, if a regular person wants to get it, it's like too difficult for him to go through the entire process. So if there is something like how it is there for any multinational companies to come into the infrastructure or put an infrastructure or set up a factory, same way, I think for agriculture also there has to be a window. Like I know there are NABARD and various things, but there has to be some awareness campaigns that have to be compared like to other industries. So we should also start conducting. So that has to happen from the government level. I know like as individuals we are doing a lot of courses, awareness campaigns and things, but we will not be able to reach each one of them. And then when we say the trust factor also plays a vital role. So that can remain maybe 1-2% of the people, but when government says it can go to maybe 98-99% of the people. So government should start creating awareness campaigns around this particular segment, as well as one particular change that policies has to determine is they have to start seeing hydroponics at a level of half acre, 1 acre farms and start encouraging them to transform someone already practicing a greenhouse to have a transformation into a hydroponic setup, because someone having an empty land to transform into hydroponic system might be a little expensive on their side, but someone having a greenhouse can easily shift into hydroponics. It's not going to be a lot of cost for them. So I think a policy which should play around that will help us and also the farmers.
Okay, yeah, that are good suggestions to make. So, as we know that urban farming is gaining popularity. So, as people want fresh produce and without insecticide and pesticide produce. So, like, how do you see Kamala Farms is contributing in urban farming and turning cities into greenhouse? As we know, the pollution scenario, we have crisis we are facing right now, especially in Delhi areas. Like you majorly work in the southern region, right? If I'm not wrong. So how do you see
Uh,
that envision Kamala Farms is going to tackle this? And
Got it. So we did start as a South Indian based company, but we did explore our revenues out of South India and we did start work like in North and like East and West parts. But we majorly focused onto the central part of India. And then now we are also focusing in the North part of India as well. And soon we are not much into the eastern part, but we soon might go into that particular area. And how we are seeing this growing is like, yeah, it is evolving at a very good phase. So we do want to explore the urban farming, and then we are able to contribute up to certain extent. But what is happening is it also has to be an initiative from the corporates or like anyone who is already into the segment. Like real estate is a very big sector, so real estate has to adapt, saying that okay, they do have rooftop spaces, or they do have like 60% of every real estate venture is has to be an open, where it might be landscaping or various segments, right? So they do have to induce the segment of hydroponics into it. When I say hydroponics, the only reason is because they're able to give more productivity. Otherwise, at least greenhouse farming should be into it, so that slowly they would evolve into hydroponics. So I think that is one area which the people should start creating or seeing this as an avenue. But we are trying our best to get into those and trying to evolve into those patches where we could come up with a good carbon footprint reduction and also increase in whatever the urban farming is happening around. So we are trying to work around that particular area and contribute ourselves.
okay, okay, good to hear that. So, so what's your vision for Kamala Farms over the next decade? Are there any plans to introduce in like hydroponic innovations into other regions or sectors? Like as you already said that you're planning for North India. So are there any other plans for other sectors as well? Like what is the vision for the next vision decade? If you could bring light on that.
Yeah. So our next vision for next 5 years down the line that we have planned is one to even more reduce the costing and offer even much cost effective models because like lot of things evolved, right? So now we understood maybe some implications or some machinery or some accessories might not be of use. So we are trying to remove those, bring up few things which could also give the alternative purpose, and we are trying to bring down the cost as much as possible. And we are trying to use refurbished structures. So there are many structures which are not to use currently, like they're like maybe people left them out or like not able to do anything there. So we are trying to bring them to use and put them to use, trying to work around the refurbishment of the structures. And most importantly, we want to put our footprints across India, and we started evolving outside India as well. So we started working in US, we started working in UAE as well. This last 2023 is the area when we started expanding ourselves outside India. And within India, we want to bring down the cost because we are very price conscious, and that's not wrong being price conscious, but we want to cater everyone who wants to start farming. So we are focusing around what the government is offering the subsidy benefits. So we want to see maximum utilization of the subsidy benefits. And also we want to reach where the value addition comes into the picture. So our major goal is how to increase the shelf life of the produce that is grown in the farm. Like if, for example, if someone is growing something like a tomato into their farm, even after he sells the tomato, and there will be seasons when he might not be able to sell tomato but he still grows tomato. So what is that he could do with it? So we will add a solar dryer to the farm. He could dry the produce, he could store it and sell it later, by which the economic sense or the economies of scale are also playing a vital role, and also the cost or the inputs that he's putting in, he's able to make the output also equivalent. So that is where we are working around increasing the shelf life of the produce that is going to come out of it. And we want to increase it to a maximum extent where even the farmer is not able to sell for an year. It's not a problem. Like something like tomato or a dried tomato is doing, he's not able to sell for an year. He can sell it next year. Whenever the rate comes, he can always sell it. So we are working around giving shelf life production improvements. That's up to 3 years. We want to work around it, and that's where our major goal is driving us, and we are well motivated towards achieving that, and we are confident in achieving that.
Okay, so that is great to hear. So, the last question to you is for budding agripreneurs who want to explore hydroponics. So, what advice would you like to give them to help them to get started on the right foot?
Yeah. So on regular basis, we do speak to a lot of people, and then this is one thing that I want to like tell, and I keep telling the same thing to everyone. So I would suggest everyone, whatever is your business plan, write it down for 5 years, break it down into quarters, years, months, whatever is possible, and start achieving every now and often. And when you're able to do that, what happens is there is lot of changes that keep evolving, and you have to be adaptable to that change. So if something comes up, don't be afraid, go for it, do the change management, because you have already designed your business for 5 years, and design in such a way that whatever I was talking in the earlier conversation about the shelf life, that has to be implicated into the system. So design something around it so that first of all you're starting a new avenue or a new venture that is putting you at a safe place, as well as see something like how you could increase the value of the goods. That could only happen if you start exporting, right? So there is huge demand across the globe where people are still seeing that dried produce and whatever produce that is going to come out of this particular high quality outputs. So people give value to high quality output. So start creating yourself around those avenues, then you could be really successful. But you should start seeing the vision on a bigger scale. That's when you will have everything on a bigger picture. That's when anyone could be successful. That's one thing that I want to tell everyone who is wanting to pursue this as a career.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the amazing advice.
Yeah.
So, thank you for accepting the invitation and joining us for the interview. It was a wonderful hearing from you. Wishing you all the
Same.
best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.